Peter, last night, where Kyler Murray was showing the kind of fire that you don't see from him. I thought Tom Brady was on the field there for a second. And I think that is refreshing. If you're a Cardinals fan and you're seeing that from a guy who really doesn't show a lot, he's kind of been flatlined from a personality standpoint. I think he's a little F word there. You know, I could have been playing Call of Duty at home, and I'm out here doing this. I need some help on the field here, and there's a line there, especially when you're directing it toward your coach. But for a guy who's always been kind of docile, I like the idea that he got fired up.
I love that. And a lot of people might look at that and say lack of respect for the coach. And maybe there is a little bit to that. But if I'm Cliff Kingsbury, and look, we don't know exactly what the argument was about, but I think that the argument had something to do with get the play in my helmet on time, will you? Come on. You know, we want to keep this rolling. For those who don't know it, okay, so the play clock runs down. Once it gets to 15 seconds, the head coach or whoever is the play caller can no longer speak. Communication is cut off into the player's helmet. And that, because he pointed to the helmet at one point, Mike, I think it had something to do with the relative speed of getting the play in. Maybe that's it, maybe it isn't. But if I'm Cliff Kingsbury, the one thing I'm thinking about today is this guy is taking ownership of this offense, and I like it. Whether that's entirely the case, I don't know, but that's how I read it.
Well, and remember the background. The contract with the 4-hour-per-week study clause that was just a horrible unforced error by the Cardinals. It made Kyler Murray look bad. They eventually removed the contract. Well, you can't remove the damage that was done by the fact that they even felt compelled to put that clause in there. And I think that probably at some level was responsible for Kyler Murray saying, you know, if we're going to sputter, if we're going to struggle, if we're going to look like crap, I want to make sure people realize it's not because I didn't put in enough time studying the game plan or the playbook or the film of the Saints defense. Somebody else is screwing this up. So, hey, TV audience, don't blame me for this crap that you're seeing right now.
Hey, Mike, was it really a mistake by the Cardinals? Or did someone with the Cardinals want to put that in the contract so that it would get out? I mean, could that be the case? And I don't think any of us really know the story behind that clause. I just think that that there was some unhappiness inside the organization with the work ethic of the quarterback. They didn't exactly have a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning doing his homework, at least in the eyes of people, some people inside that organization. So what did they do about it? They put that clause in it, and they knew, look, that clause was going to get out. It absolutely unequivocally was going to get out. And what purpose did it serve? It served a purpose to embarrass the quarterback. That's exactly what it did. And so that's one of the reasons why I didn't think this was going to be a great year for the Arizona Cardinals. Because that is just, that's inviting mayhem into your house. It just is. And so anyway, we'll see what happens. They're 3-4, big win with a big assist to Andy Dalton and Marquez Callaway. But we'll see if they can. And Mike, that was their first home victory in a year. They had been 0-8 since their last victory at home. And that has been a really good home field advantage stadium, State Farm Stadium. So maybe they'll get on the right track. We'll see.
They had been 7-0 last year. It was a Thursday night, Week 8. They had that great game against the Packers with the gif of Aaron Rodgers and the chin strap up in his mouth and his eyes all wild like he'd just taken a shot of ayahuasca. And the Packers ended the unbeaten run of the Cardinals. But, they were 10-2. Peter, they were 10-2
Shot
through
of
12
ayahuasca.
games. And the next 12 games, including the playoffs, they were 3-9 before last night, from 10-2 to 3-9. And now they're back on the right track. And, I don't put it past Michael Bidwell to think this is a good way to motivate the quarterback by having that study clause and having it get out. But you definitely undermine your relationship with your most important employee when you do it. And
do you
that's
motivate the quarterback that way, or do you embarrass the quarterback that way?
Well, you motivate him, but you turn him against you. And at some point, you're going to get bit in the ass by that. He's not going to forget that. At some point down the road, there's a bill that is to be paid for choosing to motivate your quarterback in that sort of a way. There's got to be a better way to motivate him than to embarrass him and turn yourself into the enemy. The days of the coach that yells and screams in the face of his player and makes the player hate him so much that the player goes out and plays well, those are over, because most other coaches out there aren't going to act that way. And, hey, I'm going to go play for this guy. So that's what the Cardinals need to worry about long-term. But for now, they can enjoy their win. They get their mini bye, and we'll see if they can get to 500 when they have their next contest. I believe it's next weekend in Minnesota against the Vikings, who are currently 5-1. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.